Hi and welcome. My name's Holly Gaspar and I work at Dartmouth-Hitchcock in the Community Health Improvement Program. And we're joined by a number of family resource centers, both in New Hampshire and Vermont, that are going to spend some time today talking to you about some of the services that they can offer new families, new caregivers with small children and new babies. So let's start with some brief introductions. Renee from TLC is here and Anya from the Family Place. Renee, can you start with just telling us a little bit about TLC located in Claremont, New Hampshire?
Sure. TLC is the Family Resource Center, which is located in Claremont, New Hampshire. We serve Sullivan and Lower Grafton County. I am the intake coordinator, and we are providing support services to pregnant women and families with young children. There's no cost for our program. Anybody can enroll who has children or are pregnant expecting a new baby or another baby. Our services are free, and all you have to do is call us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anya, can you talk to us a little bit about the Family Place?
Sure. My name is Anya Gendel. I work as a family support home visitor for the Family Place. In Vermont, we call them parent-child centers. They're very similar to the family resource centers that you just heard about in New Hampshire. We're one of 11 or 12, I can't remember, parent-child centers in the state. So you have access to them wherever you are in Vermont. And my role in family support home visiting is to support also pregnant women, whether it's your first pregnancy or your fifth, and children age 0 through 6 under the specific program I work under. And I work to support families in whatever goals they have to be healthy and thriving. So that can mean a lot of different things for different families. We try to work on goals that affect you and your family and your well-being. So it sounds a little bit broad because it is, but it's nice because it can be tailored to the family. Typically we do home visits, so I come to your home. Some people like to meet in the community, maybe it's a library, your church that you go to, it might be your kiddo's school or a playground, and sometimes it's at our agency, but almost always people like to visit at their house. It's really convenient to have someone come to you. And like New Hampshire, our services are free. It doesn't matter your income, whether you have Medicaid or not. You still get services and you don't get charged. And we can work with you as often or as infrequent as needed. Maybe you need help for 3 weeks. Maybe you need help for 2 years. That's okay. So we have a lot of other services at our agency, but that's the role that I have at the Family Place.
Wow, that's certainly a lot of resources and information and education that you can offer families with young children. We're also joined by Joanna Salenza, who works at Dartmouth-Hitchcock and the ICN with new families as well. So Renee, what are probably some of the top 3 items, resources, offerings that you can offer new families with small babies or small children or women who are expecting to have a baby at your center?
Sure. So we provide a lot of parent education and support with a focus around attachment for the family. We are able to provide a lot of case management services for the family. So we really help try to get the families connected to resources in the community that they want to be connected to. So we like to make sure families have health insurance if they're eligible, that they're connected to WIC if they're interested in getting connected to WIC. And really just depends on the individual needs of the family. We are also currently able to provide some rocking chairs for eligible new pregnant moms. That is typically delivered within 2 weeks after the baby's born for the family to keep. And we also are able to provide diapers and formula at times, and then just really help the families get what they need, whether it's information or resources or those items that are just really hard to come by that are necessary to help the family.
Thanks. And Anya, anything in addition that the Family Place offers, or is that pretty similar to what you're offering at your organization as well?
Very similar to family resource centers in that we also have diapers, wipes for families enrolled in programs. We don't have the rocking chairs, but we have a different resource. It's called a welcome baby bag. So if you just had a baby in Vermont, you're eligible for this bag, and in it there are handmade hats for the baby. blankets to encourage tummy time, brand new books, often for the newborn, but also for any other older kids that are in your household. There's also a huge book of all the resources in Vermont, ranging from housing resources to financial resources. What else is in there? There's so many things in there. It's hard to keep track of. But we hand deliver it to your door, whether you want to enroll in services or not. Anyone in Vermont is eligible for that. So that's kind of unique to our state. We also have funds. If you're enrolled in a program at the Family Place, you are eligible for the Family Assistance Fund. It may be a one-time type of emergency fund. Maybe you are about to get evicted from your home, or your car just broke down and you're having difficulty paying for that. There are some funds available just for families who are enrolled in services. And sometimes if you're not enrolled in services, depending on your case, we can help out with that too. And we also do what Family Resource Centers do, in that we connect people to other resources. So if we don't have the resource for you, we definitely know somebody who does. And so our job is to kind of be that connecting person for you.
I have a logistical question to ask, and maybe Anya, you could jump in on this one. So hopefully a lot of ICN families will see this video. It might be families who are still in the ICN. Is there an optimal time for them to get in touch with either one of the resource centers? Is it while they're in the ICN, or should it be when they go home?
It really, I think the earlier that you can enroll, the more time you have with a home visitor to make a relationship and get the resources you need. I've worked with people who are pregnant, who have babies eventually in the ICN, and then I've worked with kiddos who have been discharged from the ICN, but there may be some bumps in the road now that the kiddos are home, and how do you navigate this new lifestyle with a new baby who may or may not have medical concerns? It's just really overwhelming at different times for different people. So I wouldn't say there's a right time, because for some people, they might be well supported until that baby arrives. Some people may need more help while they're pregnant. So it all depends on the person, but knowing that that's a resource I think is important, and you can enroll at any time.
Thank you.
And, you know, childcare is always a hot topic, and thinking about families going back to work. Some go back to work as early as 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and sometimes longer. Are there any programs at your agencies that support childcare or other relationships that parents can be having with their child when they're an infant, such as play groups or other tools or resources that you can talk about? Renee, do you want to start?
Sure. We do have early infant play group that we had been having. We don't currently have it right now, but as soon as we can get back to that schedule, we'll be offering that. We offer that in the sensory room at the local preschool in Claremont. We also have a Circle of Security parenting program, and we're going to be just starting that online. Next week we'll be starting that, so that's open for parents. That's open for parents as well.
And Anya, how about at the Family Place?
We have a lot of resources. We have 4 different play groups that are active every Monday and Friday from 9 to 10:30 in the morning. We have a play group on site. It's actually over Zoom now as our online platform, but when we return after it's safe to go back to be in person and be not socially distant, we do have that play group. So that's twice a week at our agency. We have one once a week in South Royalton at the Red Door Church on Wednesdays. And I think that's a little bit later. I want to say it's from 10 to 11:30. And you can check our website or our Facebook page to confirm that time. And then we also have a new one in Woodstock located at Safford Commons Way. It's kind of West Woodstock, and we alternate our time there with the staff who work at the Ottauquechee Health Center, and that person's name is Courtney. And that is a weekly one as well. And I believe that's on Wednesdays. So those are play groups. And then we also are doing Circle of Security trainings. We try to alternate with TLC, so we're not always overlapping. And that's a parenting class available to community members. And what else do we have? Childcare. We have a whole childcare referral program in the state of Vermont. and those staff people are located at our agency. So if you are a parent who's home with a newborn and you need to go back to work, or maybe you just need a break from your kiddo and you want them to be socializing, you can call our agency and ask to speak to someone about childcare, and they will work with you to send a whole list of any childcares in the areas that you're looking at. So if you say, I live in Hartford, Vermont, and I'm looking for a childcare, they can send you a list of all the childcares in Hartford, and you can call. They even give you suggestions on what to ask for when you're touring a daycare. So if you've never done it before, it can be a little overwhelming what to ask and what to look for. So they can set you up with that. If you have some worries or trouble paying for childcare, we have a childcare subsidy program where if you qualify income-wise, the state will help pay for childcare depending on what your income is. And for some families, income may not be a problem, but the level of stress in your home may be a problem. So we have a special program called Family Support Subsidy. For example, maybe you just got evicted, but you still work full time, and that's really stressful, and you may not feel like you have the time to get into a childcare and take care of all of your needs. You may qualify for 1 year worth of paid for childcare. And that's a very unique program where someone comes out to interview you, but it's another resource out there for childcare if you're wondering.
Wow, that's great. Renee, what would you say to a parent that might have a new baby that would be hesitant to engage with your services? What would you advise them or tell them?
Mhm. So I always tell families that we're a strength-based program. We're really there just to support the family, to give them information, answer any questions that they have. They have a parent educator and a nurse who work with them, so the nurse can also provide information around feeding, or if they're breastfeeding, or questions around starting baby food, anything like that. And I always tell them the door is always open. So even if this isn't a good time for you to get enrolled and you just have a question or a concern, call us. We'll be happy to answer that, or try to get you connected to the right resource for families. And it's a really sort of a laid back program, and we just try to help families the best that we can.
I have a question. Right now, what's the best way to get in touch with both centers? Is it by phone? Is it email? Because I have a feeling after people see all the resources, because I say every time I sit down with you two, I learn something new about what family resource centers offer. So I would think that people are going to be thinking about getting in touch with you. So what's the best way right now?
So the best way for us right now, we do have access to our nurse, to myself. I'm the intake coordinator, and then we also have a licensed clinical mental health counselor who is available to answer questions. But I would say the best way is to email me, which is Renee, RENE, at tlcfamilyrc.org. Or you can call me or text me on my cell, which is 603-372-7758, and then I can assist you or get you in touch with the correct person.
Anya?
Sorry, I'm looking up our phone number. I'm not used to repeating it. I always write it down for people. I'm sorry.
We put you on the spot.
You can either call our agency. We do have at least one staff person there every day. Our phone number is 1-802-649-3268. We all have different extensions, but the best person to talk to is our intake coordinator, who is similar to Renee over at TLC, and she takes all new referrals. Her name is Kelly Wallace. Her extension is 117. But even if you call and say you saw this video and you're interested in services, they'll know who to connect you to. You can also email us. My email address is anya.g@the-family-place.org. And you can always look us up on Facebook and communicate that way too.
And Anya, what catchment areas do you see families in, just so that families know which agency they should be contacting?
Right. So I think the most important thing is that if you're interested in services, you can call the Family Place, and our job will be to find the right resource center for you or parent-child center. It's kind of confusing because different services at the Family Place cover different areas. For my specific role, family support home visiting, I cover all of Hartford, Woodstock, Bridgewater, Norwich, Heartland, Quechee, Wilder, South Royalton, Sharon, and I'm probably missing a couple of towns. But for example, if you're receiving early intervention services for your kiddo, if you had a concern about development and growth, you may be eligible for our agency staff to come out to you if you live in Thetford, Vermont or Bradford, Vermont. Whereas family support home visiting, I wouldn't go to that area. We would connect you to a different agency. But that's a little bit confusing, and I don't want anyone to be worried about connecting to the right one. We would make sure that we handle that part for you. So if you're at all interested in services, no matter where you live in our area, in the Upper Valley or beyond, just call our agency and we'll connect you to the right people.
Great. And how about for TLC, Renee?
So we serve all of Sullivan County and then parts of Lower Grafton County. So Newport, Claremont, Sunapee, Leominster, Goshen, up through Enfield, Hanover, Lebanon, West Lebanon, Dorchester. So yeah, and the same for us. If you have any questions in New Hampshire, we can get you connected to the right agency or right program. If you're not in our catchment area, then we can get you referred to the right people.
Well, this has been really great. I'm sure you're going to be hearing from some families. We know that these are really challenging times right now among the coronavirus. We know that families might be experiencing new struggles or, just some hardships that they could use some extra help with, or they're just welcoming their first baby into the world. And boy, does it look different right now. So thank you everyone for your time. Does anyone have any lasting thoughts or comments that they'd like to share with the group, knowing that you'll be reaching new parents and caregivers and families?
I just wanted to mention that it may seem obvious, but we never actually, I don't think I said it. Our agency is still taking referrals for new families during this time. We may not be able to come to your home at this time right now, but we are seeing people over the phone, texting, video chat as often as we can. And then when we're given permission to go out into the world and not have to be socially distant, we come to your home, or into the community. So we are seeing new folks if you're interested in a referral.
Can I just say, as an ICN mom myself, it was such a big jump to go from the caring, close environment of the ICN home. And I so wish that I 20 years ago had been connected to family resource centers, because I learn something every time. And like I said, it's a big jump, and knowing those supports are there and that you meet families kind of where they are, to me is just huge. So thank you for being part of this call and for being such a great resource for families.
Renee,
thanks for having us.
Lasting thoughts, Renee?
No, I would just reiterate what Anya said. We're here. It is a tough time, I think, for families, but we're all in this together, and we're happy to support families. If they have a question or concern, just give us a call.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. We look forward to meeting you.